Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay. So today we're going to, I thought about it, decided that it would be advantageous to start a series on Node.js. So why did I decide that this would be helpful to you all? And you can give me feedback if you think it's a waste. Please let me know and we'll look into something else. But we see it all over the place from everything we've done over the past year plus. And sometimes it can get a little confusing. Sometimes it can just get confusing, and what's Npm, what's in it, all this different stuff. So first of all, let's establish what Node.js is. All it is an asynchronous event-driven JavaScript runtime. So what does that mean? Asynchronous means you can send stuff off and let it do its thing and come back, which makes it ideal for web servers. And of course, JavaScript, it means it uses the JavaScript language. We can also use TypeScript. What it does, it lets you write your server-side apps in JavaScript. And the advantage there is you have lots of people who knew JavaScript, and this would allow them to extend their reach. We talk about a couple of things. The Node version, the Npm, that's the Node version manager, and you've seen this. Some tools, some things we've downloaded said, I need this version. If you use a later version, it's not going to work. If you use an earlier version, it's not going to work. So you have to be careful. Sometimes that could be a cause of problems. What is Npm? We run that command all the time. All Npm is a repository of JavaScript code. So it's a repository of the code that Node's going to run. So what happens is when you do a Node Npm install, you're basically installing some of this JavaScript code to use in either run or use in an app. Or one of the things we see all the time is Npm Install. Now, let's talk about that a little bit. There are two ways of doing it, locally or globally. If you run Npm Install without the G, it's going to put it right where you're running it. That's a local install. If you run it with the G, then it's going to put it in the global space of your machine. The issue there is you may have to run it with administrative privilege with sudo. So it'd be sudo npm install. Lots of times when you're running something, they have you run that first because it'll get down everything that particular package, that script, that code will need in order to run. And we've seen situations where it fails because it doesn't have something it needs. Now, the thing with there's also a thing with versions. Sometimes that can cause an issue. It requires a certain version. And that's generally, if you look at a React app or you look at a Node, certainly when you create a React.js project or any kind of Node project, they have that package.json. And let me see something. Let me see what you're looking at right now. Okay, so I'm going to save this because I'm going to show, just to give you to kind of tie the thoughts together with something simple rather than the more complex we normally address. So I'm going to go to home to node. Let's see. Here's well, right in the root, but I don't like that. So what we got here? I can show you an example. Here we go. This is an example of a node project, and you see. Okay, so this looks like it's from Polkadot. You can see it specifies exactly what it's going to need in order to build. And that's it. Whoop! I didn't want to do that. Okay, let me make sure you're seeing it. Let's see. This was the one. Let's see. Gotta bring that window back up. All right. So let's see. You can see what that package is. It tells it what it needs. The next thing I want to discuss is the difference between this Node.js server stuff and JavaScript that you typically see in a traditional web app. JavaScript traditionally runs in the browser, and it usually, when you create the app, you usually put it in the particular directories that you put it in, but it is not a server. It is, the server may presents the JavaScript with the HTML, and that's run in the browser. So that may be when you click a button. This is very, very common use. You click a button, it makes a call to a RESTful function on the server. Okay. So that is what that's the difference. So now let's take a look here at the documentation. Am I going to get it? Let's see. There we go. Okay, so here is the documentation. If you want to, goes through this website, node.org, has everything you're going to need. This is the, in the Getting Started guide. You look in the docs, you have different guides here on different topics, core concepts, blocking versus not blocking. Oh yeah, this is very important. The whole idea is it uses more of a callback rather than kind of a waiting type of thing. So this is a synchronous read, and this is an asynchronous read. So this is, the first example is simpler, but the second line can block it if there's a problem. It's going to sit there until the entire file is read. In the second example, what it's going to do is it's going to go back and carry on. So that's the advantage, and we're going to get into that. That's going to be another video. I think I really want to get into the way they do this. But for now, let's go back. So let's see. We have a very simple example here of a web server. So basically, it creates a server, and this is what's And then it is, once the server is created, it starts listening. So let me demonstrate that. And we've seen stuff like this a lot. But the nice thing about this is a very simple example. So we bring, let's see, am I getting the right thing? Let's try that. Here we go. So here, all you do, and this is running a Node app. I keep missing it. The lighting's kind of weird. I have to sometimes stand up to get it at the right angle. So, let's go back. So, the name of I put it in a file called hello world. Well, it should be world, but, and I just run it. I say node, and it's saying, yep, I'm running. So what happens is, let's go back again up here, and I'm going to bring up a browser and do and there it is. Now we can, obviously what you can do there is you can put a whole bunch of HTML stuff and make it all, for example, let's take a look at the code again. I am going to bring this back up. Okay, so we got this, and we go in here. And note here, this is the host name, this is our local host and the port. But let's do something else. Let's do, I'm going to go down here. And why is this not? Oh, of course, I have to do an insert. And I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna make a little H1. See what this does. If I'm right, what it should do is now it's treating it like text. I'll show you. I'm gonna have to play around because that's kind of different than what I've seen before with this end. So let's go back here and play around a little bit. I've not seen res n, but let's see what happens if I, no, that's not gonna, well, I have to play with it. I'm not used to this res. This is the, theoretically, this res n takes a string, but it's not interpreting as HTTP. This is why. The reason it's text plain is I'd have to look up what the, I'm wondering if that's probably the issue here. But anyway, a little bit, I'm more used to the React thing when you just stick the HTML right in the return. But you can see exactly, what it's doing and how it, when you call it, so it doesn't matter in this particular example, whoop, I messed it up. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh, I didn't put in the, Alright, now that, you would have to have some variables that go over time, and there you go. And if you do it again, it's always going to return that particular method. So this is extremely simple, but it gives you an idea of what you can do with it in terms of creating a server and executing code. Probably would use something a bit more, there's a lot more you can do with this. This is just a very basic example. But anyway, we're going to be doing a lot more with this. This is just a basic introduction. And we're going to take it from there. And please let me know in the comments if there's something you want, or you want to go back to something else. But this is going to help you because this is used all over the place. All over the place. So just be aware of that. So thank you for watching, and I will speak to you next time.